Hi y'all, so you're back on here in the episode of Indigo Podcast. Today, I'm going to be going over 5 things kind of that correlate with the subject of resilience. I don't know why that was such a big thought, but I'm going to give you all a little, context on what resilience is and what I think about it, and then we're going to get into the 5, pillars of resilience. I guess that's a good way to describe it. So first thing I got here, I think resilience is one of the most important qualities anyone can have, like along with consistency, determination, grit, I already say discipline. If I did, I repeated myself. But all that jazz, I think people pretty much know what the best and most important qualities to have as a human being are. But I just think being resilient in times of adversity, even when it's unwarranted and it's just out of nowhere, which I'll get into that a little bit more later, is just having resilience and having the patience and the willpower to just endure the process and adapt and just try your best and give it your best foot forward even when conditions aren't set in your favor. I think that's really important, but I'll get into more of that later. But anyway, I think it carries over to anything, like maybe you're taking a test and even though you studied, I don't know what's going on. Anyway, even when you studied, it's, you're grinding through the test, you're a little bit doubtful, you're unsure of if your answer's correct or not, and you're just I'm not really sure, and you're just all right, hold on, let me sit back for a second. You're patient with yourself, and you just try your best and put your best foot forward anyway. Even if you're really unsure, you just put the best answer and keep it pushed instead of psyching yourself out. So I just think being resilient whenever stuff hits the fan, if it's warranted or unwarranted, it helps you hold the standard and do exactly what you set out to do, and just make sure that you're following through with what you say you value and what matters to you, and what you say your standard is, and what you say, well, not what you say, but how you say you want to be as a person. So first thing I'm gonna get into, I've kind of already gone over this, but just choosing the hard right. And there's a plethora of examples for this. It could be going to run even if you don't want to, going to lift even if you don't want to, studying even if you don't want to. You get an assignment on Canvas and the teacher's like, this is due in a week, and you're like, I got plenty of time. And you know dang well the right thing to do is just to do it right during that class period, because she's giving you class time to do it. But it's like, I'll watch TikTok, I'll do it later, and then it's late. So I just think choosing the hard right, even when the easy wrong is so tempting, and it's so it's literally in its name, it's easy. It's the easy thing to do instead of doing the right thing that maybe is more grabbing, mentally or however, spiritually. I know it's just harder for you to do that. It takes more effort and more intentionality for you to actually do the thing that is right, and that'll actually help you thrive in the long haul. But I just think I'm not going to go too deep into this. I've already kind of explained the significance of this, but it's just choosing that hard right consistently, and it just builds and it builds and it builds, and it just builds with it. And what builds with that is confidence, and as that confidence builds, that becomes the standard, and you're just like, okay, this is what I do. This isn't even a negotiation process. I just picked the hard right just because that's what I've been doing all along. So it's just the new norm. So number 1, choosing the hard right. I think that goes hand in hand with just being resilient and gaining resilience, because just like anything, you can gain resilience, you can lose resilience, all of that. So second thing I'm gonna get into, and this really was proof to me recently, is just you can do anything you say your mind to, because I was just kind of foreshadowing, I guess. Pretty much, I'm gonna give you all a little story. So Sunday, I was just a normal Sunday, because I did a very long walk. I'll put the watch log right there. I don't know, I'm gonna show y'all because I do that. I'm gonna show y'all. So I went on a very really long walk and came home, had breakfast like usual, cleaned the house, blah blah blah. Anyway, not really significant, but the point is, I'm gonna get to the point. So I went to the gym, and then I felt a little like a little sickness in my stomach. I'm I'm tripping. Nothing's going on here. I'm tripping. So I go home. I have a smoothie. Smoothie was very good, by the way. Had a smoothie. And then, I was doing my normal thing, and I felt something when you feel like a sickness. Felt a sickness slowly creeping up on you, and I was just like, okay, this might be a problem. And then when I was making dinner, I sat down to eat, it fully hit me. I'm like, I think I have a stomach virus. And then that night I was just laid out on the couch, and I'm not a laid out on the couch type person. So if I'm laid out on the couch, there's something wrong. So I was on the couch. I came in my room, was in and out. And then Monday hit. We had a workout, and just off of the way I felt the night before, I felt a little bit better though. So anyway, the workout went fine. The cross workout went pretty well. It just, stomach was bogged down the whole time. Didn't really feel the best. But I mean, it is what it is. And then it fully hit Monday night, throwing up, in and out the restroom, just throw it off. It was, you get the picture. It's pretty bad. So Tuesday took that day off completely. Just got my daily steps in. Just took it like a complete rest day. Wednesday came back. Had a little shakeout before the meet. But the whole thing I'm trying to get at is the night before the meet. Because this is very discouraging, because my whole philosophy was, all right, I'm going to move my rest day to Tuesday, because normally Sunday is my rest day from running. So I moved it to Tuesday, and my whole I guess, belief on what was going to happen was by Wednesday, I'm going to be straight, because I had a full rest day. All I did was walk, I'm straight. Wednesday night hit, that's not what happened at all. I was feeling dang near, if not worse than Monday. So just feeling that way, it wasn't any doubt in my mind. It was just discouraging, because you thought something was going to play out a certain way. And that goes into the next thing I'm about to talk about too, but it just didn't. So I was just like, all right, this is what it is. So, I was in pain. I was stomach was in pain. Felt like it was a brick in my stomach. Oh my gosh, I hit my mic. Felt like a brick was in my stomach. It wasn't fun. It didn't feel fun, but I tried to sleep it off. I woke up, was pretty tired, pretty exhausted just from the sickness and just kind of the lack of sleep. Because when you're sick, you're in and out of sleep, and you don't really get the, I guess, most optimal sleep or most restful sleep. So in and out of sleep, I woke up and I was like, I'm about to run this 5K anyway, because this is what I set out to do. So I'm doing it anyway. It doesn't matter, even though I felt pretty crappy, but that's the standard that was set. So I'm doing it. So I went out there, slept on the bus, tried to sleep it off the best I could. And I still ran. I think I ran good for the conditions. If you're curious, I ran 1850.6. I'll get more into that on the recap video that'll come out later this week. But I just think that was just after that long-winded story. The whole point I'm trying to say is it's proof that whatever you set out to do, whatever you set out to do in your mind, you can do it. Literally, it doesn't matter. All the odds could be stacked against you. Literally everything. Your back could be against the wall. And it, because I've mentioned this before too. It doesn't matter how much that stomach virus doubted me, how much the stomach virus was trying to knock me down. I didn't give into that. I was like, no, none of that. I'm still finna run. It doesn't matter. Because, like I said, doubt was only dangerous when you doubt yourself. And it doesn't matter how many people say you can or cannot do something. Why are you doing this? Why are you doing this? Because this happened. It doesn't matter. If you say and you think you can do that and you really care about it, it's going to happen. No matter. I mean, obviously, there'll be moments in your mind where I don't really know what's about to happen. How is this about to turn out? But if majority of you saying this what was about to happen, because that'll really carry you to that starting line, and when the gun fires off, you run anyway, no matter what happened. That's what's really important. So I just think you can do anything you set your mind to. Obviously, if there's no consistency and you're just throwing some out in the wind, maybe not. But if you're consistent, you build consistent bricks over time, and you've built confidence, I'm very sure if you set out your mind to go run a race, even if you have a terrible stomach virus, it will happen. So obviously, let's say you're throwing up on the course, but you get the point. You get the point. So next thing I kind of went over, unwanted. Whoa, that's a big word. Unwarranted adversity. That's what I meant to say. And the thing I've seen in unwarranted adversity is it's harder to deal with than adversity you chose for yourself, you set out to do. Because this could be going out for a run, even maybe if you don't want to. Maybe it's raining. Maybe lifting. Your day was super long. You had a lot of stuff going on. Studying, even if you don't want to. that's, I guess, forced. That's forced adversity. You chose to do that. That's, you subjected yourself to that. But unwarranted adversity, like let's say out of nowhere you got a family emergency and you planned a lift, so now you have to move the lift to later in the night. And I found it like it's really easy to just be like, just blow up and get an attitude to people and be kind of a douche about it and just be who you really aren't and who you really don't want to be. Like that's the easy thing to do, and I realize it's easier to just be rude to people and just lash out instead of just being like okay and just accepting it for what it is instead of just complaining about it. Because complaining and whining and just being woe is me and just being a victim, having a victim mentality, this is why a lot of people do it, because it's easy. But the hard thing, which is built with resilience over time with forced and unwarranted adversity, is you just learn it's not even worth it. It's not like it's not worth losing your head with people and being rude and saying things you may not mean really. It's just I think the main thing is just being patient with it and just be like, all right, this is a challenge, this is a test, and let's see if I pass the test or not. So I just really think that's really when you see, okay, am I as strong as I say I am, or am I brittle? Because the thing with unwarranted adversity, it's so random. Like you can't tell when it's about to happen. When you're about to run or you have a run planned or however your training is scheduled, you can foretell that in the future. Okay, this is probably how it's going to look. Maybe there'll be some factors that change, but overall, okay, it's probably going to turn out this way. When you get slapped with unwarranted adversity out of nowhere, you have no idea what's about to happen. So that's when you really learn, okay, what I need to work on. Okay, do I need to work on being nicer to people? Do I need to work on being more patient? Do I need to work on being more calm and not being as stressed about it and just letting it play out the best it can? So I just think this is really, really get tested, and you really learn, okay, what are my strengths and what are my weaknesses? But anyway, fourth thing I'm going to go over, lean into discomfort. So I've kind of discussed this too. Discomfort is where you grow. Now, I'm not saying if you have an easy run, go run a 4-minute pace and kill yourself. I'm not saying that, but I'm just saying, forced adversity, unwarranted adversity, just whenever you're doing something intentional, you should really lean into discomfort, because that's when you really learn, okay, can I withstand the process, and can I endure the process? Because enduring the process is the main thing when it comes to resilience and just, being consistent, just, climbing up the ladder to where you want to go in life and just keeping going from there. So just like the unwarranted adversity and just adversity in general, discomfort's a test. It teaches you, it does teach you, but it also, lets you know, okay, how do I react when things get tough? How do I react when things aren't ideal? How do I react when I'm in the pain cave? How do I react when I'm suffering? So I just think it should also, the references to, like, kind of with the easy run analogy, like, it should be uncomfortable, but it should be controlled discomfort. Because I remember I heard Nick Bear say that, like, I really related to that, because I don't think discomfort, you should just go out and run with a 3 medicine balls and holding 3 medicine balls with a weighted vest and weighted, like, I'm not saying that. I'm not trying to say you should just kill yourself with no intent. The purpose of discomfort is for it to be intentional and for it to be controlled, and for you to learn from and learn, okay, how do I adapt in uncomfortable situations and situations that don't really feel the best? So I just think you should really lean into discomfort, especially like when it comes to running and lifting, because like I think a perfect analogy is when you lift, like you're training close to failure. When you really train close to failure, it's very uncomfortable. Like a lot of people don't really get to that point, but as you do it more and more, you learn more and more. So that's just kind of how that goes. But last thing I'm going to talk about, just patience, because just like anything else, resilience takes time, and you have to really be patient to endure the process and really learn from yourself and learn from your mistakes and learn from where you went right. Because I think a lot of times too, like I would say for me, sometimes like you kind of forget about the accomplishments and cool things you've done. Because a lot of people do some really cool stuff, but I feel like the people that do the coolest stuff don't really see it. They see it the least out of the whole group of people, and people that support them and surround them. They see it blatantly obvious, like blaringly obvious, but the person who's doing it, a lot of the times, if they're doing it at a great level, they'll see and be like that's not really that important. Like they don't really sit and like really acknowledge what they did. So I just think with being patient with yourself and really allowing yourself to evaluate and be aware of what you're doing, what you may not be doing, and what you need to work on, it really allows you to endure the process and just see that everything is a learning experience. Because I don't even really think mistakes or things that you may have done wrong are, unless it's just intentionally just doing stuff wrong. I mean, I understand that that's a whole different thing, but let's say you're literally trying and you're being consistently good and you're trying to put your best foot forth, and obviously you're not perfect, but anything that's a quote unquote mistake, you just learn from it and you get better if you do what you will with that and do what you need to do with that. But I just think enduring the process, leaning to adversity, leaning to discomfort, control discomfort, taking it a day at a time, an hour at a time, a mile at a time, whatever metric you use to be present in that moment and just, stick with it. I just think that'll really pay off in the long haul. But that was just me talking about resilience. I think resilience is one of the main things people should work to have, because I don't think you can ever fully cap out your resilience, abilities. I think you always learn and gain more resilience throughout the plethoras of adversity that will hit you in life, no matter if it's you running 100 miles or maybe someone's in the hospital and you have to tend to them. So I just think it's really important to constantly build on that, constantly endure that, and constantly expand your resilience muscle. So that's episode 47, and I'm going to see you next time.